When one basketball team is trailing another and the clock starts winding down, they have three problems. 1, they need to score points. 2, they need to stop the other team from scoring points. And 3, they constantly have less and less time to accomplish this. So what's the easiest option when you don't have the ball? You foul the other team on purpose. This solves one of their problems because it stops the clock ticking down toward their inevitable doom. Of course, they also have to hope that the leading team misses their free throws so that they can again get the rebound, run down the court, get another basket, and then repeat the whole process over again. If this sounds like an unlikely way to get a win, that's because it is. The problem is there's no alternative, so while it's only a small chance, teams continue to do it. It's difficult to put an exact number on it, but intentional fouls occur in somewhere around half of NBA and NCAA men's basketball games, but they almost never result in a team coming back to win. Nick Elam, the fearless hero of today's story, calculated that out of 535 NBA games in which a team fouled late, the fouling team still lost in regulation 96.6% of the time. Only 0.4% won in regulation, while the other 3% just forced overtime. According to a highly rigorous study conducted by me based on one random NBA game I watched, the clock stops for about 40 seconds for a player to shoot a pair of free throws. So an extra 2 intentional fouls in half of NBA games means that fans are watching players stand around for over 13 hours in a season for basically no reason. Let's go, folks. Time is money. Okay, so what's the solution here? Elam came up with a hybrid duration format, which has since been dubbed the Elam Ending because that sounds better. A game with the Elam Ending would have 2 portions, hence the hybrid format. We'll use the NBA in their 48-minute games for an example. The game would be completely normal until there were 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. At this point, the next time play stops, 2 things happen. First, the game clock is turned off, and second, a target score is determined. At this point, you're probably wondering if intentional fouls really are that big a deal and why do we need to bring long division into this, but hear them out. So we have 2 hypothetical basketball teams. Let's call them the Celtics and the Lakers. There's an errant pass and the ball goes out of bounds with 2 minutes and 58 seconds left. We're going to turn the clock off now. They're not the shot clock, that stays. And to calculate our target score, all we have to do is add 7 points to the leading team's total. Since the Celtics are winning 80-75, our target score is 87 points. In other words, the first team to score 87 points is the winner, no matter how long it takes. The Lakers no longer have a game clock to contend with, and thus they only have 2 goals: score points and prevent the Celtics from scoring points. You know, playing basketball. They have no incentive to foul because all they would do is put the Celtics on the line, which would give them a high likelihood of scoring and getting closer to the target score. The interesting thing, though, is that it doesn't just solve the intentional foul issue. In a normal game, the winning team gains an advantage from holding the ball as long as they can, just to drain the clock, which is also not much fun to watch. But this is no longer the case because now they have the same goal: score points and stop the other team from scoring points. It also eliminates the trailing team from rushing down the court at breakneck speeds just to chuck the ball up at the hoop as quickly as they can. And this in turn actually increases the chances of a comeback because now that they don't have to worry about fouling the closest guy in sight, it will reward teams for playing good basketball rather than getting lucky by throwing up wild shots. Why 7 points though? Good question. I'm glad you asked. 3 minutes, the portion of the game we're eliminating, is 1/16 of a 48-minute game, while 7 points is about 1/16 the total points a team scores in an average NBA game. In other words, on average, it would take a team 3 minutes to score 7 points. Now, theoretically, the game could be over in just 3 possessions, a pair of 2-pointers and a 3, and the game is over. But on average, a team scores 1 point per possession, so it will likely take a little longer than that. The threat, however, that they could end it very quickly would spur the losing team on to play harder. Elam points out that while most intentional fouls only occur in the final minute, only eliminating 1 minute by using the same ratio would mean that the target score would only add 2 or 3 points, thus potentially ending the game on the next possession, and that's too boring. Wouldn't this eliminate the buzzer beater, though? Kind of. It would eliminate the dramatic scene of the game-winning shot taken with the ball hanging in the air as time expires while the whole arena watches with bated breath. Except no, I lied, because it wouldn't eliminate that at all. Remember a game where the target score is 87? We can easily imagine the Lakers making a comeback and tying the game at 85 points. You're really going to try to convince me that the creation of a next shot wins scenario would be boring? I don't think so. And actually, if that wasn't good enough, literally every game with the Elam Ending features a walk-off winning basket. How does an alley-oop from half court to win a game sound on the excitement scale? All games would end on a basket, not some guy holding the ball at center court for 20 seconds while everyone else starts shaking hands and high-fiving Spike Lee. There's got to be something wrong with this though, right? There are a number of issues that people have raised with it, but nothing that under analysis seems to be anywhere close to the current format and the intentional foul issue is. If you want to read a compilation of them, I'll link Elam's page of responses in the description. At over 22,000 words, it's quite thorough. Elam has said that it's a constantly evolving idea and it can easily be adapted to switching up the target score or changing how certain situations are handled. The basketball tournament, which is a yearly tournament that any team can enter and has a winner-take-all prize of $2 million, started to use the Elam Ending in 2017. The response has been overwhelmingly positive. They did find a bit of a bug in the system, in which teams that were 1 or 2 points shy of the target score began intentionally fouling the other team when that team was 3 points shy of the target score. This would take away the option to shoot a three-pointer, force them to shoot only 2 free throws, and give the fouling team a possession again. But the good news is this was counteracted by a simple rule change for the tournament coming up this year, in which a fouled team in the untimed portion of the game gets 1 foul shot and possession of the ball, which frankly wouldn't be horrible in regular gameplay, as it's just more incentive not to foul, and it would keep gameplay going. So the Elam Ending. Stop the clock with 3 minutes left, add 7 to the winning team's total to determine your target score, and have at it. There's no more overtimes, there's no more dragging the game out, there's always excitement at the end of the game, and everyone gets home a little earlier.